Here is my build for Diablo 3 Wizard. This build emphasizes area coverage and maximum damage output. For your main hand, you have Aether Walker, and I focus on the legendary item attributes. So, Teleport no longer has a cooldown but costs 25 arcane power. That allows for mobility and more offensive options for a defensive move. Hands, you got Frostburn. Cold skills deal 20% increased damage to have 50% chance to freeze enemies, but there is an item along with other attributes that actually increase the damage because you're not going to be using cold skills, and I'll show you why after I've explained all this. Also, you see that the secondary attribute has been enchanted to have gold health pickup increased by 2 yards. That's because you want to be able to not move very far in order to pick up health globes and nephilim glory orbs. And there's another item that will extend the pickup radius. I'll show you for explanation. Shoulders, you have Mantle of Channeling. While channeling Disintegrate, deal 20% increased damage and take 25% reduced damage. Chest, Shivazu's Haori. While below 25% life, all attacks are guaranteed critical hits. That's another defensive option. Also, you need to have the maximum number of sockets so that you socket your gear with your primary attribute. So for wizards, you need to get the flawless royal gems and get the maximum number of sockets for your gear and put them all in for the maximum amount of intelligence that you can get in the build. Also, you gotta make sure that all pieces of your gear are ancient legendary, because there's another item that will increase the damage, and it has to be augmented with Calison's Despair for the highest amount of intelligence possible. In this case, I have a level 125 Whisper of Atonement, and there is one way that I could show you how to duplicate certain items so that you could basically save so much time in order to make sure you get the maximum number possible. For your head, you have Crown of the Primus. Slow time gains the effect of every rune except Point of No Return and permanently follows you. This is an important item because when you have slow time on your action bar, you get that slow time bubble that permanently follows you, and you don't need to cast anymore. Basically, it allows you to slow down the speed of the projectile so you have enough reaction time to dodge them or reflect them back with a skill that I will show you in a bit. Neck, you have Squirt's Necklace. While you have no set bonuses equipped, every legendary item you have increases your damage dealt by 375% and reduces your damage taken by 2%, and the bonus is doubled for ancient items. That's why you need all of your gear to be ancient. And I've socketed with the Legacy of Dreams gem. Oh yeah, that basic I explained the Legacy of Dreams gem. Basically the Squirt's Necklace, the legendary attribute is, while not taking damage, damage dealt is increased by up to 100% and damage taken is increased by up to 50%. That was my bad. I kind of got ahead of myself right there, but that's basically Squirt's Necklace is a powerful amulet you should have on your build. As you can see, you have plus 20% cold skill damage that adds on to the Frostburn gauntlets, and there's another item that will increase the damage output of whatever you're doing, so you don't need to worry about cold skills. Wrists, you have Ashngar's Blood Bracer. Increase the potency of your shields by 78%. This basically helps galvanizing ward for more defensive options so that you don't get hit by any attacks that you can't seem to evade or those insta-hit attacks. Offhand, you have Mycon's Ball of Hate. Electrocute can chain to enemies that have already been hit. This is an important item to have because you can basically electrocute a huge group of enemies, and with a special item, they just disintegrate so quick. Ring 1, Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac. Reduce the remaining cooldown of one of your skills by 1 second when you hit with a resource spending attack. I'll explain that in a bit. I have Bane of the Stricken Gem. Gain 25% increased damage against bosses and Rift Guardians, and each attack you make against an enemy increases the damage it takes from your attacks by 1.65%. It can go up if you're lucky enough to increase the rank of your gem. Also, you want to have as much reduction of duration of cooldown of control effects by a lot, so you don't stay like immobilized for so long. Ring 2. Here's another important one. Stone of Jordan. Each of your elemental damage bonus is equal to your highest static elemental bonus to skill. So for example, you have the Frostburn gauntlets and you add on a bunch of cold skill damage that also increases the damage output of lightning and arcane and fire by the exact same percentage. I also have the Pain Enhancer Gem. Critical hits cause the enemy to bleed for 6,750% weapon damage as physical over 3 seconds, and gain Blood Frenzy, granting you 3% increased attack speed for each bleeding enemy within 20 yards. That basically enhances damage output. Boots, you have Firewalkers. Burn the ground you walk on, dealing up to 400% weapon damage each second. That's kind of both a defensive and offensive move. Legs, you have Depth Diggers. Primary skills deal up to 100% additional damage that basically affects your signature skills. Belts, you have Shame of Delzere. Signature spells attack 50% faster and restore 9 arcane power. This is important to have because you could, whenever you're out of arcane power, you can just electrocute the air and quickly restore arcane power. Not only that, it deals more damage by attacking faster. The potion you should have is Boundless Potion of Amplification. Increases healing from all sources by 25% for 5 seconds. For your skills, primary skill is Electrocute Chain Lightning. This is affected by Mycon's Ball of Hate, the Stone of Jordan Ring, and a very important item in the cube that you want to take advantage of, because it also is affected by Shame of Delzere because it attacks faster and does more damage, and also recovers arcane power quick enough whenever you're ever out of arcane power and you need much in a hurry. Secondary, Disintegrate, Chaos Nexus. This is the huge damage dealer because it covers a lot of area, and it helps out with the Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac. For when one of your skills is on cooldown, you could use Disintegrate to reduce the cooldown by 1 second when you hit with Disintegrate. Defensive option, you have Teleport Calamity. That helps with Aetherwalker because it doesn't have a cooldown, and Calamity helps it turn into a offensive option. It stuns everything from the teleport point, as well as a mobility option for when you need to move around really quick. For the force, you have Wave of Force, Impactful Wave. This helps out with the Crown of the Primus when you have slow time, because you can slow down the projectiles, or you could knock back enemies that are too close to you. Even though it has a 5-second cooldown, you could use Disintegrate to reduce the cooldown. Now, there is no Conjuration because I have the Crown of the Primus. That's why you need Slow Time, Point of No Return, because it gains all runes and permanently follows you, so that allows you to utilize the effects of Slow Time against enemies as well as projectiles. Mastery, you have Mirror Image Duplicates, but you could have Extension of Will, but I choose Duplicates because you have 4 mirror images that taunt nearby enemies for 1 second, each have 50% of your life. They also cast Slow Time Bubbles as well as Wave of Force, Impactful Wave, so you don't need to cast it yourself. That's very helpful to have. Passive 1, Glass Cannon increases all damage done by 15%, but decreases armor and resistances by 10%. The point is not to get hit, so just be aware of it. Paralysis, lightning spells have a 15% chance to stun all targets hit for 1.5 seconds, but there is an important item that takes advantage of this. This affects Electrocute. Passive 3, Galvanizing Ward. As long as you have not taken damage, within the last 5 seconds you gain a protective shield that absorbs the next 60% of your life in damage. This helps out with the bracers because it allows for a defensive option in case if you do get hit from quick attacks or insta-hit attacks from monsters. Passive 4, Unstable Anomaly, for that life shield, that extra life. When you receive fatal damage, gain a shield equal to 40% of your max life for 5 seconds, then release a shockwave that knocks enemies back and stuns them for 3 seconds. Effect occur every 60 seconds. Just be aware of it when the Unstable Anomaly is active so you don't unintentionally die. For the powers in your Kanai Cube, Death Wish for the weapon while channeling Arcane Tort, or in this case Disintegrate. For at least 1 second, all damage is increased by 325%. That is a huge damage dealer. The armor slot is Hergbrash's Binding, reduces the arcane power cost of Disintegrate by 65%. That basically extends the use of Disintegrate and basically makes it free to cast. Manheld Heal for the Jewelry slot. This is important. For Electrocute, enemies stunned with paralysis will take 14,000% weapon damage as lightning. Basically, in a huge group of enemies, just cast Electrocute, and hopefully when paralysis procs, that Manheld Heal will stun all the enemies that are shocked by lightning and do a ton of damage. Paragon points just max out everything, and then when you've hit level 800 Paragon, just dump the rest of your points into Vitality to extend life. For your follower, I have Irena, the Enchantress. For the head, Broken Crown, you got to make sure that all the legendary attributes emanate so that you don't, so you're not missing out on a lot. Whatever gem drops of the gem type socketed into your helmet also drops. Does not apply legendary gems. So basically, put a amethyst in your head to increase life. Also do that. Also make sure that the reduction of duration control effects is reduced by a large percentage so that she doesn't remain stunned for long. Amulet. She has the Flavor of Time. Pylon effects last twice as long. That's for nephilim rifts. And she has Legacy of Dreams gems, so just like what you have, it increases damage by a huge factor. Risks, Nemesis Bracers, Shrines, and Pylons will spawn an enemy champion. That is to complete rifts faster. Ring 1, Avarice Band. Each time you pick up gold and health pickup radius by 1 yard for 10 seconds, stacking up to 30 times. That really helps out with your maximum pickup radius so you don't have to travel that far to collect health globes and Nephilim glory orbs. And she has the Bane of the Stricken gem in it. Ring 2, grades flame. Taking fire damage restores your primary resource. Yeah, so if you take fire damage, you can quickly gain resource lost. She also has the Pain Enhancer gem as well. And also make sure that all of her armor slots are ancient and augmented with Caldeson's Despair for the maximum value of damage. Her follower item is the Hand of the Prophet to gain access to all skills so you don't have to decide which one to use. And boots, she has Firewalkers to, again, more defensive option and to basically burn the ground she walks on. So enemies get burned when they get close to her. Pants, Death's Bargain. Gain an aura of death that deals up to 1000% of your life per second as physical damage to enemies within 16 yards. No longer regenerate life, but that doesn't matter because she has a ton of life that basically prevents her from dying. And you have to make sure that you have the maximum number of sockets and outfit them with flawless royal topazes. Belt, Slash of Knives. With every attack, throw a dagger at a nearby enemy for 130% weapon damage as physical. That's another offensive option to gain more attack power. Hands, Gloves of Worship. Shrine effects last for 10 minutes. You're going to need that to benefit from the shrine effects whenever you're doing Nephilim rifts. Her main hand, she needs a staff, Malice Focus. Enemies occasionally flee at the sight of the staff, and I know it looks like the Ahavarian Spirit of the Lycander. That's because I wanted to make it look awesome, but this basically is one of the staff that basically allows for crowd control so the enemies don't attack. Shoulders, Homing Pads. Town Portal is no longer interrupted by taking damage while casting Town Portal. Gain a protective bubble that reduces damage taken by 61%. So whenever you get a Town Portal, it's not interrupted whenever you need to get back to town quick. Chest, Gold Skin, chance for enemies to drop gold when you hit them, because I have no other idea what to do so. So there you have it. There is the build for the wizard. If you want to try for yourself, feel free to do so. If you want to modify it, feel free to do so. This is the build that I wanted to show you.